Hey there, everyone. I'm Claudia Tarico, editor at Demand Gen Report, and I'm back with another episode of CXO Conversations. With me today is Peter Cannone, the newly appointed CEO of Demand Science. Peter, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Hi, Claudia. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited for our conversation. And, like I just said, you were recently appointed to the role of CEO of Demand Science. So what has that transition been like over the past 3 months, especially with all of these social distancing mandates in place?
It's been a very interesting time. First of all, I am so thrilled to be part of the Demand Science team. This company is led by two great founders, has really created an opportunity in the market. And so I feel very blessed that I have the opportunity to take the reins from them and lead the organization. But, managing in the COVID worlds and the way things are, as I came into the headquarters, we're all virtual, our global virtual. So very different from coming in and seeing everybody and, there's more human interaction. A lot less of that, a lot more Zoom, a lot more video. I do a lot of that now. But, you adjust and we've adjusted and it's going great. I think that our company, our team here has done a fantastic job with the whole virtual and working from virtual. And, it looks like it'll probably be like that for a while. So we'll continue to work and do the best we can with it. But it's definitely different, Claudia. But it's the way of the world, and you accept it and you just keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to be agile. And, if there are hiccups along the way, so be it. Right. I also hear that you expanded your executive team to include a new SVP of Corporate Development, a new COO, and a new SVP of Marketing. Tell me a little bit about, what these new hires mean for the company and, why they were the right candidates.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So a lot of what, coming into a growing organization, a scaling organization like this, that really is on the precipice of, I think, of, breaking out and being very transformative and disruptive in the whole market intelligence space. There were some, what I'll call foundational infrastructure things when you're moving from a startup company to a mid-stage to a later stage company, that you have to put these foundational infrastructure pieces in place. And what that means is as you start to get 50 to 100 million, you have to start specializing your executive team so you can move quicker and build out the global organizations, and also bringing people that have done this at scale so it can help do that. So coming in and talking to the board and the founders, they said this is what we needed. So obviously in my own ecosystem, I've been very blessed throughout my whole career to work with some outstanding executives. And some of them were available, and I quickly made calls, and we were able to bring Monica Sullivan in as our Senior Vice President of Marketing. She comes by way of Constant Contact in Gannett, where she ran all B2B marketing. Susan Fazilpour, our Chief Operating Officer. Susan served as President of Operations at PC Connection, a $2 billion technology company, and then was with me at ThriveHive, the large digital marketing company. And Bill Harrigan, who spent a lot of years in investment banking, is now with us on our SVP of Corp Dev. Because our company, Claudia, we're spending a lot of efforts, not only looking at our organic growth, but also looking at our inorganic growth. So where we could find those accretive and complementary tuck-in acquisitions that could help us move faster. So Bill was a very important part of the piece of the puzzle. So we're moving down two paths, executing on our organic plans and also looking for those unique opportunities globally that can help us expand and move quicker.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've got a very busy rest of the year coming up,
yes,
but all good stuff. So let's talk about Demand Science a little bit. I know it's the parent company of a suite of B2B solutions, right? And you guys focus on data, analytics, demand gen, and so much more. Can you just give the audience a little bit of a rundown of the company and all of the brands within it?
Yeah, we're interesting. Demand Science it's a buyer intelligence platform. And we basically built the buyer intelligence platform, Demand Science, which is a management company. And the management company has 4 operating companies underneath. The 4 operating companies are Pure B2B. And Pure B2B is Demand Gen, AI Accelerated, MQL and SQL, predictive analytics, email, a full funnel lead generation. And it's been really the anchor of the whole business model for growing it. They've done fantastic with logos like Google, large customers, Microsoft, you name them. 600 of the largest in the world use us for full funnel lead generation and lead development. ProspectOne, which is going to be emerging now, is the second operating company, and that company is basically going to be our market intelligence engagement platform. So that is going to be a tool, Claudia, that's going to sit on any salesperson's desk that they could download if they want their own leads and be able to, like a LinkedIn. So we're going to create a lot of engagement and access. And we just hired John Sofield, who's going to be the president of ProspectOne. John was a longtime veteran of Google. He ran product and SMB in Google. So he's a tremendous addition to our team. ProspectOne's going to be a pretty special tool, and you're going to see a lot of coming out, of course, in the next 3 to 6 months about that tool. We also have Software Trends, which is our third operating company, and Software Trends is basically which we're building, led by Bob Cavilla, who is our general manager there, and that's your content web place. So place where you can go get thought leadership, white papers, training, things you want to know about data and how you can use data to help advance your company. We're going to create that as part of our platform so that when you need something, you want to learn something, you can go engage there. There'll be subscriptions for you to be able to pull down any types of periodicals or content that you want to use for it. So that's in place and underway. And the final was an acquisition we made right when I got here, a company called Cobena. And Cobena it's a Philippine company. Really interesting company, Claudia. It's built on basically the services of doing data science, doing all kinds of different products. So basically taking that data that companies have and doing the analysis and doing project work. As an example, we're going to be bringing to market a product called Gateway. And that is, in the best way to put it, if you know geofencing from digital marketing, this is geofencing on steroids. It's going to be one of the more unique and special products that we're going to bring to the market that clients are going to want to use, because geofencing only gives you a certain amount of capabilities. This Gateway product, built by our team in the Philippines, is going to be coming to market in the next three months. We also just hired a new general manager for the United States. We'll be bringing Cobena to the U.S. Starting in Q4, in some of the products and services that we're going to be able to build for them. A gentleman by the name of George DeRico, he started last week. So as you can see, we feel like we really got the team and the right players in place to really be a really, really compelling, disruptive player in the market intelligence platform space, which is where Zoom Info exists.
Awesome. Very, very exciting things coming down the pipe. And again, like I said, you guys seem very, very busy. So that's awesome. And obviously, given the current state of the world, we've seen some interesting shifts in the demand gen and lead gen landscape in light of, the recent events. So what kind of conversations is your team having now with customers and prospects to kind of, maintain and stay competitive and stay successful during these weird times?
Yeah, it's funny, though, important to talk about, because I think, these are unprecedented times, right? And I think for a lot of businesses, there's the uncertainty of what their company and their products are going to look like post-COVID-19, because the buyers of their products could be thinking about things differently. The market might look different. There's a lot of things, especially in the consumer space and the B2B space, depending on what services industry you're in. So there's a lot of kind of moving parts that are happening right now. So I think for us, and I think why we're so excited about where we sit and what we can do and offer for our clients, is because there's going to be a lot of companies asking us, how can you help us figure out what's next? So here's our data. What customers and how should we be pursuing? What's changed about our customers? How are they going to be pursuing? Can you help us with that? Give us some predictive analytics on what we can do to help them figure that out. So we're well equipped to do that. So I think where we're going right now, the conversations we're having with our clients is around there. It's like we understand that this is the world has changed and business has changed. So we're ready to help them figure out what's next and how they can lay out their own go-to-market plans based on what's happening in the market today. And that's what we've been doing, and we've been having a lot of success. One of the things I wanted to mention is throughout this year, one of the things that this company, Demand Science, did not do, we did not have any layoffs or things like that. We actually invested, Claudia. We made significant investments in our sales organization, in our strategic selling organization, in our commercial organization, and our operations. We basically started putting more gas in the tank versus where some companies kind of held off, or we said, no, we're going to keep going. And we're really starting to see it pay off. September was a record for us in sales, bookings, and revenue. And I think what that is, to tie back to this question, it's the reality that there is companies now seeing COVID-19, there is going to be an end, and God willing, there'll be a vaccine and things, but business is going forward. And as they're starting to figure out, they're turning to us and saying, help us figure this out. And that's what our team's doing.
Awesome. And I mean, I'm sure you've experienced some hits and misses along the way. Yeah. Anything that you could share, anything that you've learned so far?
I think, hits and misses. I think one of the things that is that I'm staying very grounded about everything because of the uncertainty in the external markets and what's happening. I think that in the U.S., there's a lot of volatility in around, depending on what state you're in and how, and I mean this for business, so I stay very grounded in keeping our expectations relatively reasonable because of just not knowing. I mean, I'm an optimist, and I've always been an optimist. So that is something, and I feel like, this will pass, and, we will be, all of us, the country will be stronger. But, at the same time with that, I stay grounded because, we need to be thoughtful on what we're doing and how we're doing it. I mean, from the company standpoint, and also we are a global company. So we also have to be very thoughtful around how we're going to look at expansion and things with the global marketplace based on the uncertainty still around COVID.
And, I took a look, I was digging around the website a little bit, and I thought your philosophy it really resonated, especially now. You're all about being technology enabled, people powered, and data driven. So yeah. Why do you believe that these areas are so critical to the success of B2B organizations?
Because those three things that you just said, I think, are basically the lifelines of going forward in an organization. And because, tech enabled, AI, machine learning, and being able to basically use technology to help you move forward, to understand what's going on in an automated way. I also think people will always be an important part of our business and where we're going. So I think those two things are absolutely imperative as you think about where we're going and what we're trying to do. Our company, I think we're like everybody else. So, we're just, you could mirror every business, a lot of the businesses, whether you're a large business or small business, and those three things are probably the most important things you should be looking at.
I love that. And yeah, absolutely. You could have all the technology in the world, but if you don't have the right people behind that technology, manning it and collecting that data and doing something with it, then what's the point of spending all this money on technology, right?
You're absolutely right. And I think the last thing we talked about is around data. I think here's the thing that, because being a CEO, I've been a CEO pretty much my, 17, 18 years, public, private, venture. And one of the things that I learned, and it's great to be on the other side of the table, is we always had a lot of data, and we never knew what to do with the data. Data in sales, data in marketing, data in operations. And it's like, we have all this data, but it just sat there, and we never knew how to take that data and make it actionable so it could be beneficial to our company, that we could grow more revenue, we could operate better, more efficiently, all those things to do. So now, as I sit on the other side, being the company to help figure that out, I think, you know, CEOs, especially a lot of my friends that are CEOs in companies, are saying, yeah, we need that help because we need to be as smart as possible to navigate these difficult times. These are uncharted waters. So data will help you navigate those uncharted waters that we're in right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So talk to us a little bit about your role as CEO of Demand Science. I know you've only been there for a short amount of time, but like you just said, you kind of have that position and that role down with other, you know, companies. So what have been some of your top priorities and key learnings so far?
So I think that for me, most importantly, coming in is basically, you know, as defining who we are, you know, around the biomarket intelligence platform, and creating a disruptive and transformative company in the market space. We want to change the relationship with sales and marketing, right? To change that relationship. So first coming in was making sure we could create that vision, and that vision both internally to our organization globally, and then also to the external markets and to our clients and to folks that outside. So we could talk about that. So that's been at the forefront for me to do that, while basically adding in some key folks, as we talked about earlier, that can help move the vision. I consider myself very fortunate that I have such a world-class team here. And, you know, it takes a village. And when you have such great folks that are able to execute for you and do the great things that we're doing, it helps us move a lot quicker. So the vision, the team, the company, really getting the company in these times to get to know me. So I do a lot of town halls. I do them once a month. I'm really big on communication and over communication, so everyone understands what's going on, why we're doing it, how we're moving. It's really important to me too, Claudia, is the culture here. You know, I believe that I inherited a tremendous culture from the founders that had built, and to be able to carry that culture on. It's basically a caring culture, a performance culture, accountability, but, you know, people really like to be part of the Demand Science team. And we want to continue that. We want people to have careers here, not jobs. So all that been really busy with that. Also talking to clients, talking to some of our larger clients, getting to know them, finding out what some of their needs are. You know, we've now been able to hire the entire senior executive team and the 4 operating leaders that are in place. We're basically in the ending of our strategic planning for 2021. We're so excited about 2021. We really think that it's going to be a tremendous growth year for us. And you know, I'm glad to say too, this year for Demand Science is going to be a double-digit growth year, and a lot of companies can't say that. And I think that's a tribute to all the folks that have worked so hard here, and all the clients that continue to rely on us through the COVID times.
That's great. Since the title of our series is CXO Conversations, I always like to ask, what kind of conversations are you having with other business leaders, whether they're, you know, internal leaders, you know, as part of the rest of the company, or outside the organization?
A lot of conversations, you know, both with internally and externally, with a lot of friends of mine that are CEOs and, you know, peers and COOs. And I think first and foremost is, how are you navigating the new working world? And navigating is, how are you navigating, you know, your employees, to make sure your teams, to make sure that they're comfortable, they're productive, and you're able to manage through the COVID. And that's kind of first and forefront of making sure that you're doing the right thing. So I'm always believing in the best practices. So I love to hear what other CEOs are doing, and vice versa, exchange. Is this working for you? We're very committed to safety, and we're very committed to you know, our folks are home. Our offices are open if they want to come in, but, you know, we're also very thoughtful. We have a lot of folks that are parents, and there's a lot of school, you know, hybrids and things like that. So you got to give your folks some certainty too, so they can plan. So a lot of that conversation is going on. A lot of conversation about, how are you thinking about the next 12 to 18 months, and what is the world going to look like from a business standpoint? How are you looking at your own clients and their needs? And so a lot of that. So first and foremost is just COVID, virtual, organization. Second is markets, clients, and then just overall, just, some of it's just our own opinions on how we think things are going to go.
Very cool. Well, to wrap things up, do you have any, parting words on how you believe, either the age of big data or just lead generation in general will evolve as we continue to navigate this new world of interaction and engagement?
I do. There's a couple of things. First, I think most importantly, you're going to continue to see the evolution of lead generation. And, what we're doing is, lead generation will become around predictive analytics and intent. And, things that we're going to be do to even really define and help define, all of those things about the potential buyer of the products. And we're continuing to regenerate by using data, using our own data science teams, using technology-enabled platforms to be able to do that, to use that to help companies be that much smarter. The other thing is, the reality and the understanding that the new world, a lot of it's engagement through your iPhone or your whatever, Android or whatever, and understanding how best to engage your clients. Technology has changed everything. We're a mobile world, even though we're home, we're still that way. So I think that, as folks think about, the next 12 months and they think about where things are going, I think most importantly, definitely know that data has to be, the data that you have in your organization, which I'm sure is a lot, how to harness it and how to bring in a company like ours to help figure it out so we can help make you more efficient and scale the business. These are what, why we build this. I think that, we're going to be a very important part of the next 12 to 24 months as we emerge from the pandemic and helping businesses kind of in the new world, right? The new business world, where there's some companies that aren't going to be around, unfortunately, and then there's new companies that are going to come out of nowhere because of the pandemic. So I think that what we're excited about is our platform can service all of those needs. So the demand science platform, the 4 operating companies, when you come into our demand science platform, you have the 4 operating companies with all these services. And basically, we just want people to have a one-stop shop to be able to do it.
Awesome. Very, very cool. I look forward to seeing everything that you have coming down the pipe. So that's all the questions I have for you, Peter. Thank you so much for this really great conversation. It was a pleasure to meet you and chat with you. And thank you to everyone watching. That's a wrap on another episode of CXO Conversations. See you next time.